It's Partick Thistle against Celtic for the first time in over 6 years. When Celtic were last at Firhill, they won by 4 goals to 2. And Pierre Van Hooijdonk scored a couple of them. Neil Lennon has had the sort of week of which nightmares are made, a death threat in Belfast on Wednesday, and he got a really big response from both sets of supporters as he came out this afternoon. There was only one place he wanted to be, and that was on the pitch doing his bit for Celtic. Derek White, good 7 years as a Celtic player, and he won a couple of championships in his time at Parkhead as well. More recently, of course, he's been a mainstay of the Aberdeen defence. Left Pittodrie in the summer, and with Danny Lennon on the bench, he's the club captain. Derek White takes the skipper's armband this afternoon. And before we get the match started, there will be a minute's silence. Mike McCarry handles the fixture this afternoon, and Paul Lambert there, who captained Scotland in midweek, leads Celtic this afternoon. And there's the Partick Thistle manager back in the big time for John Lambie. But before we get underway here at Firhill, a poignant moment as we observe a minute's silence in memory of Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. I think they're in all our thoughts at the moment. And all sports uniting this weekend to honour Holly and Jessica, to mark the memory of their tragic loss. And there will be a minute's silence at all major sporting fixtures around the country this afternoon. Steve Cragen, 1/3 of the Thistle backline this afternoon, the former Motherwell player. And he'll line up alongside Scott Patterson, who was outstanding for Thistle last season. And Derek White, of course, completes that back line. The Celtic huddle getting a mixed response. And Martin O'Neill will have told his players to get on with this afternoon and do the business here before any thoughts start wavering towards Wednesday night in Basel. And undoubtedly Celtic's biggest match of the season so far. But we're underway with Partick Thistle against Celtic. The third live match of 38 from BBC Scotland this season from the Bank of Scotland Premier League. Intriguing it promises to be. And how will Thistle cope against top-class opposition here? Jackie McNamara on the ball, keeping his place in the midfield, which is encouraging for him. And he certainly is a player who you would imagine deserves better than a seat on the bench.
You're right, Rob. I seen Jackie play last week in the Celtic team. There's no way Martin O'Neill could leave him out today. He was exceptional. His attitude to the game was first class for someone who's been out for so long.
A late one from Jos Valhaeren. And the first free kick of the match awarded by Mike McCarry.
And he's a one from Mike McCarry, big juice there. He's just attacking from behind, but just in modern football, you just don't get away with that one. And Mike McCarry, right to give the free kick.
Derek White with the free kick, and Scott Patterson alongside. Long ball from Craigan, but that's straight through to Rob Douglas. Thistle playing 3 up, and they want to give them a decent service.
It's got to be a better ball, Rod. That's pure delivery from Stephen Craigan. He's not under any pressure whatsoever. He's got to try and find the feet of the strikers. Jamie Mitchell and Alec Burns, they prefer the ball into feet. He's got to try and do that from the back end, especially when they get time on the ball.
Douglas aims for Chris Sutton. Scott Patterson got a bit of it to get the ball away. Alan Archibald downfield, and Alec Burns chasing. And Ulrich Larson getting another sample of first-team football with Celtic. He was an automatic choice at Hibs, but it won't come that way for him at Celtic Park, that's for sure. He'll have to be at his very best to keep a place in that back line. The first threats from Didier Agat's goal kick.
Didier will be disappointed with that one. You can see maybe a little bit of staleness coming into his play there. Didn't judge the weight of the ball forward properly. Eventually running the ball out of the park. Interesting today, Rob, the tussle, if you want to call that, between Scott Patterson and Chris Sutton. Scott Patterson played exceptionally well last season for Thistle any time I've seen him play. And Chris Sutton's such a good player that it'll be interesting to see who wins that duel today.
The ex-Chelsea and Blackburn striker. He's made a big impression in Scottish football, and 3 goals in 3 games for him already this time around. So Sutton is hot, and Neil Lennon, as ever, is a big part of that engine room for Celtic. Alan Archibald with some hair this season. He was shaven for most of the last campaign.
Lucky man.
At least he's an option. Paul Lamberts. And the Gats wasn't out. Chested down by Larson. Good challenge from David Lilly to get there before Jackie McNamara. Alan Archibald, the longest serving player at Firhill, despite the fact he's only 24. That's Larson. And Agat doing what he does so well, powering up and down the touchline and doing his defensive duties there. So important for Thistle that they get off to a confident start. An early goal for Celtic, and they could be struggling.
Thistle have started well, Rob. As soon as they play the ball into feet and play short passes, they can certainly keep a hold of the ball, and that's so important today. If they give the ball away cheaply, they'll bring the pressure right away from this Celtic team.
That was a good ball from Scott Patterson, and Andy Gibson disappointed that he couldn't get that under control. That's White, chested down by Burns for Martin Hardy. A goal scorer from midfield. David Lilly did well to withstand the challenge. It's a good interchange down the right-hand side. And the effort made to set up young Andy Gibson.
Good play from Thistle. Certainly the supporters are very happy. They're passing the ball, they're keeping it nice and simple, linking well, good delivery into the box, and Bobo Baldi had to force the corner kick there.
Gibson with the chance, and Mitchell and Lilly doing the creating down the right side. In from Alan Archibald, and a good take by Robert Douglas. It was a busy 6-yard box, but he was above everyone and with a good pair of hands. This is awkward for Kenny Arthur. Knew he had to come, knew he couldn't handle it.
It's good goalkeeping. He made his mind up, Kenny Arthur. There was no messing about. He made his mind up very positive and managed to clear it.
Lambert to Lennon. Larson to McNamara. Steve Guppy has a great left foot, and that's useful for Sutton just beyond him. And Derek White with the driving header gets it to safety. Here's Alec Burns. Shirt sleeves weather. You would have said that last night when it was dinging down here at Firhill, but Celtic starting to apply some pressure. Larson Useful ball through. And that had to be very carefully dealt with. And there's a free kick, which infuriates the Thistle fans. Given again, Stalin Archibald for his challenge on Didier Agathe.
You can understand the frustration from the Thistle supporters there. Didier Agathe, for me, that's a challenge. There's not much in that, very unfortunate. But the assistant referee on this side is all a yard away. Hopefully he's got that one right.
In from Steve Guppy, great delivery, well defended. Lambert, Agathe, crisp passing, Valharan involved, and what a good challenge from Alan Archibald. Now Andy Gibson, well, that wasn't what was wanted by Jamie Mitchell. He was the only man up for Thistle, and he wanted that played to his feet.
That's where they've got to keep the ball. Whenever Thistle, when they win the ball at the back end, they've got time to play a pass, they've got to find feet, they've got to keep a hold of the ball in the Celtic half.
McNamara's pass. Sutton on the end of it, but couldn't do much with it. Good work from Jamie Buchan. Thistle have lost it. Lambert works it on to Steve Guppy. And David Lilley's challenge was enough.
David Lilley's going to have a hard job today. Steve Guppy, when he goes down that left-hand side, he just wraps his foot around the ball and plays great balls into the box.
Hardy did well to keep that. An awkward bounce for Derek White, deceives him. Henrik Larson, here's a chance, and again, just wide.
Very unfortunate, Henrik Larson there. Very unfortunate, Derek White in the first place. The ball took a real bad bobble. Henrik Larson was onto that shot. Great skill, moving the ball from one foot to the other. First shot blocked, and a little bit unfortunate with the second one.
Martin Hardy back here doing some valuable defending alongside Derek White because he was in the way.
I think when you look at the amount of Patrick Thistle bodies round about Larson there, they're certainly working very hard at the moment to try and deny him space. A great skill from Larson.
4 goals in 4 games already for Larson. Normal service restored. And Derek White has problems. And Patrick Thistle don't want to lose their captain. And a highly experienced defender as well. He's 34 next weekend. He'll be delighted. I'm informing you about that, but he hopes to get rid of that little knot and get himself back out there for Thistle.
I'm sure he'll be okay, Rob. He'll get back on his feet quickly. He's a resilient character, and John Lambie will certainly want him back on the park sooner rather than later.
Kenny Arthur has been brought through the ranks by Partick Thistle. That's a good leap by Martin Hardy. Alec Burns. Scott Patterson. Brave enough to win the challenge against Neil Lennon. And Thistle need to be brave here apart from anything else. Patterson again. Chase on for Mitchell. And he was decked by Robert Douglas off the ball. It was the goalkeeper's momentum which took him into Mitchell, but the Thistle fans were getting optimistic there. They might be onto something.
I'd like to see that one again. Rob Larson certainly got a bit of a middle, and there was a hand used somewhere. I'm not sure if it was actually Rob Douglas or not.
Larson overran that. Hardy intercepted. Derek White desperate to get back on. Thistle still at 10 men at the moment. Valharan pushing on, that's a good challenge from Patterson. He started the game well. And the noise around Far Hill is all about getting White back on. But what about this, Sandy?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think there was a hand touch by Larson there, but certainly Brad Douglas took the striker out of the play.
Yeah. I think it was purely his momentum carrying him into Mitchell there.
Yeah.
As the ball ran free.
We'll give Mike McCurry the benefit of the doubt on this occasion.
Advantage played as Martin Hardy surges through the middle. Now Mitchell tried to chip Rob Douglas. Shows that his confidence is high, the former Clyde player, but The reaction from John Lambie tells you that he took the wrong option.
Yeah, John's disappointed with that. Martin Hardy driving forward from the middle of the park. It's so hard to defend against that. And Jamie Mitchell, he can do much better with that finish. I think he's tried to chip Douglas, which is no easy task when you look at the size of the big Raven. Maybe would have been better firing the ball along the ground.
He scored twice last weekend, Mitchell, in the match against Livingston, so he's on a high, and clearly thought that he could loft that one over Rob Douglas, although it takes a bit of doing.
That's a strange decision for me. I thought the free kick must have gone Thistle's way there. But Mike McCurry decided that Martin Hardy was the one who fell Paul Lambert.
Neil Lennon's free kick, aimed at Chris Sutton. Scott Patterson first there. I'm impressed with him in the opening 12 minutes.
He's read the game very well. He's intercepted quite a few passes.
Here's danger though as Paul Lambert surges through, and who's in the way? Scott Patterson. He was outstanding last season for Thistle. There were doubts about how he could cope at this level. He's got a long way to go here, but he certainly made the best possible start. Now Alec Burns against Uli Larson, had to get that right. Toasty, as they call him.
Toasty. The one thing about Alec Burns, he'll chase lost causes, he'll chase everything, every long ball through the middle, he'll try and go on the end of things.
Up goes Patterson again, but there was pushing going on by Chris Sutton.
Yeah.
I wonder who your man of the match is going to be this afternoon. I wonder who Sandy Clark's man of the match is going to be this afternoon. I think he decides pre-match, personally.
Do you want me to pick it now?
0900 10 225 if you want to telephone us, and you can text us as well on 07736 600 600. Make your bid for man of the match. A DVD player could be yours. And the last twice Sandy's picked a player, he's scored within about 60 seconds.
You trying to put pressure on me?
You don't feel pressure. Cregan's throw, Balde's header, and that's Steve Guppy. Patterson again, he's positioning himself so well apart from anything else.
He reads the game so well, Rob. That's the important thing for me. And he's a big lad, he's got all the qualities to be a real first-class defender. I think earlier in his career he had a real bad back injury, and that's maybe hindered him a little bit.
Yeah, age 19, he was at Liverpool with Graham Souness, the manager. But injury has been with him right throughout his career, and it's only now that he's playing the best football of his life, aged 30. That was aimed for Sutton, and Martin Hardy was there. Thistle fans didn't fancy Neil Lennon's challenge, nor did Mike McCurry.
That was a heavy one. Looked a little bit high to me, first impressions. Yeah, I tell you what, Neil Lennon's been a little bit naughty there, there's no question about that. Mike McCurry's standing 3 yards away.
Yeah.
Lucky not to see the first yellow card in the match.
Jamie Buchan could have been hurt by that. And you got the feeling he withdrew slightly, seeing what was coming. There's Hardy, and there's a free kick. But what impresses me so far, Sandy, about Thistle is that they're really putting themselves about.
They're certainly up for the match, there's no question. When you look at this one, for me there's nothing in that. That's a challenge, two big guys being aggressive, trying to win the ball, and nobody getting the advantage of them. Mike McCurry's pulled up once or twice when it has been necessary for me. John Lambie, I'm sure, will be having a few words with him.
That looked like an icy stare from Lambie towards the referee. There's Hardy. No great pressure on Bobo Balde. He can let that run. A hint of sunshine at Firhill. Thistle's 4th match in the Bank of Scotland Premier League. Here's Paul Lambert, failing to find Sutton. Young Andy Gibson. Played off Jos Valharen. Kenny Arthur's clearance, and Larson there. Celtic don't lose any height in their back line by bringing in Larson in place of Mjällby. And aerially, Thistle can almost give up, you would think, at this stage when you look at their three against Celtic's back three.
That's why the delivery is so important, Rob. Like that one, you're into feet, drop it short, make it difficult for the big lads at the back, and Thistle, I'm sure, will get a bit of joy, as they're proving to do. They're working so hard for each other.
Derek White played that off Paul Lambert. 16 minutes gone, 0-0, and Thistle encouraged.
No question. Probably the best chance to win that fell to Jamie Mitchell early on.
Andy Gibson, you may remember, scored that Tennant Scottish Cup winner at Dens Park against Dundee last season as Thistle headed towards the semi-finals of the competition.
Thistle fans a little bit upset at Mike McCurry. For me, that's very similar to their left challenge where he gave the free kick to Celtic.
Hallam's throw. White's header. Seemed to be dazzled by the sun there. Most of us are just happy to see the sun. Larson, signed from Hibs during the post-season. Steve Guppy, he's been impressive in recent times for Celtic, but not there. White's pass is a poor one. Tried to pick out Alec Burns, but went straight to Bobo Baldi. Useful attack from Celtic, halted by Jamie Buchan. Now Jamie Mitchell, the former Clyde player. In fact, he was a trainee at Norwich when Martin O'Neill was manager at Carrow Road. Don't know if Martin remembers him. Here he is again. Lively presence. Martin Hardy played that first time. He sensed a Gats challenge about to come. And Alan Archibald stopped by Paul Lambert. But Thistle attacking the ball, closing things down, and making life difficult for Celtic. You have to believe against Celtic, because if you go on to the park psychologically beaten, then there's only one outcome.
You're right, Rob, and I tell you what, Thistle believe in themselves today. John Lambie's got them really fired up for this one. That's obviously one of his strengths, and there's no inferiority complexes at all. They're really going for it. 50-50s. Thistle are winning more than Celtic at the moment.
They say it's his last season in management. I believe it when I see it. Chris Sutton holding off the challenge from Hardy. Larson beaten by Patterson. He's doing himself a lot of favours here, Scott Patterson. Very impressed so far.
He's in an excellent start. To do it haircut, he's in a good start.
Jealousy gets him over. Jamie Buchan to Steve Cragen. That's Mitchell. In went Lennon. Mitchell giving up nothing. McNamara did well, and that was out. And that's all down to the snapping and snarling of Jamie Mitchell. McNamara under pressure.
Not only that, Rob, when you look at it, Jamie Mitchell's not in his own. Every time that there's a challenge to be made, there's good backup from the Thistle players. There's always two or three round about to help each other out and press the Celtic team.
Lily's throw, back from Burns to Buchan, and nodded down by Hardy for White. Archibald, who joined Thistle as a YTS. The Jags are in his blood. Long ball from Patterson, looking for Lily's run. He's trying his best to get there. And a free kick given against him again, and not an awful lot in that, I don't think.
I think the referee would maybe agree with him on that one.
A double bill of live Bank of Scotland Premier League football from us this weekend. This one is live, as is tomorrow, at Ammonvale, or the City Stadium, I think, as it's called now. Changes its name every few weeks. Livingston against Kilmarnock, and that programme also includes highlights of Rangers against Aberdeen at Ibrox, so don't miss it. This is the home of Premier League football in Scotland. Great pass from Paul Lambert. That will sit up for Didier Gats. Larson and Sutton waiting. That came off Alan Archibald. Did it come off his arm? I don't think he knew much about it.
I don't think you can blame Archibald at all here. I think it's a great ball from Paul Lambert, freeing Didier Agathe down that right-hand side. He could do much better with the delivery. It's a poor ball for Didier. I think he certainly did catch his arm, but accidentally.
I think the fact he was looking the other way probably brought out that feeling that that was unintentional from Archibald.
But we've seen them given.
Steve Guppy's left foot in towards Jos Valhaven at the near post. That's well defended again by Thistle. Martin Hardy was the marker. He's doing a lot of good defensive work, Hardy, where Thistle fans recognise him as an attacking threat. And that's obstruction on Larson. And this is the sort of thing Thistle want to avoid, because it's an inviting set piece for Celtic, and it allows them to push Balde and Larson into the box.
They've got good height throughout the team, Celtic, and there's lots of targets to hit there. That's why I'm surprised Guppy's last corner was played near post. They normally hang the ball up high so the big lads can attack it. I think you'll find a bit better delivery from Neil Lennon this time.
In from Neil Lennon, out comes Kenny Arthur, good take. Bobo Balde was staring into his eyes, but the goalkeeper grabbed it.
It's good confident goalkeeping. It's up there to be won. Bobo Balde certainly a big threat, but Kenny Arthur, good safe hands, manages to cope admirably.
Archibald onto the loose ball, Didier Agathe, leaving Thistle players trailing in his wake. Agathe at his best, and a good recovery. In fact, that's a brilliant recovery from Archibald. It's a goal kick, and this looked menacing.
It's good play, attacking wise from Didier Agathe there, but again, the final ball, the delivery into the box is so important to get it right. He's maybe just a little bit unlucky that time, but give Archibald lots of credit for blocking the shot and eventually getting the lucky break to not to give away the corner kick.
I think you would have to say that Didier Agathe is getting back to his match sharpness. He's missed a lot of football, and the important thing for Martin O'Neill and for Didier Agathe is to get 90 minutes under his belt.
That's right, and when you see he actually knocked the ball beyond Alan Archibald there, give him 4 or 5 yards of a start and managed to get there before him. He's got exceptional pace.
Just past the midway point in the first half at Firhill, live for BBC Scotland. Partick Thistle 0, Celtic 0, and the Jags at the moment looking far from overawed.
They've got to be very happy with the start to the game. They're not overawed at all, as you say, Rob, and they're actually, whenever they pass the ball, whenever they get it into Mitchell and Burns' feet, they certainly look as if they can get up the park and cause Celtic 1 or 2 problems. But I don't think you can underestimate the quality in the Celtic team, and the one thing about them under Martin O'Neill, their attitude is so good. They'll work so hard to try and win all 3 points in this match.
I suppose what Dundee United would say is that they held out for 25 minutes or so last weekend, and then the roof fell in.
Well, I seen the game last weekend, and the first 20 minutes or so was total domination from Celtic, and unfortunately not to get in front. But today, Thistle have certainly held their own very well.
Jimmy Buchan won that 50-50 against Henrik Larson. Now Cragen and Patterson almost overran that, but recovered well. Sometimes it's all about how you recover. Balde pressing on. Larson, Sutton alongside, and he's overrun that, and again it's Buchan keeping possession with the pass out from midfield, but it's won back by Larson. But Celtic have been unable to string too many passes together, and that's a tribute to the way John Lambie's team is playing.
They're very well organised, Rob, and the thing for me, they look as if they've got an extra man. They're working so hard, they're making up for maybe the lack of quality they have compared to Celtic with work rate. And you see, as soon as Sutton got the ball there were so many red and yellow jerseys round about, with no chance of getting through.
That's a free kick though. Overzealous in his efforts at getting to the ball was Scott Patterson against Henrik Larson. Free kick already taken. Steve Guppy. Neil Lennon. In towards Chris Sutton, takes a tumble. The challenge was from Steve Cragen. Mike McCurry was close enough to make a judgment there, and he says that was a good, strong, fair challenge.
Well, there was certainly contact, there's no question about that. Whether it was a penalty kick, I'm not sure, but you've got to be really careful when you tackle from the back. He's got his arm up a little bit, but for me, I think the referee is right. If he'd given that, it'd have been a very soft award to Celtic.
The angled ball from Lambert to Sutton. That's a great header to get control of it. Gets it back from Guppy. Now McNamara and Larson. And McNamara was giving it his best shot to get on the end of the return, and he Forces a corner kick off David Lilly.
Good play from Jackie McNamara. You know, we say without Petrov playing today, Fernandez not playing, it's so important the midfield man goes, the attacking midfield man goes beyond the forwards, and Jackie certainly did that there.
McNamara with the corner kick, Neil Lennon. And now Guppy has time to measure his cross. Well, he didn't measure it right because it was beyond Baldy, who hasn't given it up yet. Chris Sutton's header. And away by Alan Archibald. That was terrific play from Baldy. His right leg looked almost telescopic there as he stretched it out and wrapped it around the ball.
Good determination from the big fella. The delivery could maybe have been a little bit better, but certainly he showed there's a will to win there.
Guppy on the move, set up by Sutton. Poor ball though, not what Henrik Larsson wanted. And an easy cutout for Scott Patterson. Valharan was caught late by Andy Gibson, advantage played. Celtic have it with Guppy. His right foot, Cragen in the way. Flicked clear by Buchan. Valharan beats Barnes. Celtic trying to up the tempo. Sutton's cross, flicked away by White. McNamara, and Patterson in the way.
It's a good block. Good block from Scott Patterson there. Jackie McNamara scored such a good goal last week. Confident enough to have a shot, and a little bit unlucky there. But you feel as if Celtic are starting to turn the screw a little bit, putting a little bit more pressure on Thistle.
You get the feeling the next few minutes could be important to this match. Sutton's flick, Patterson away. Confusion there between Mitchell and Burns. Celtic have it with McNamara. Wide for Guppy. Out comes Kenny Arthur, flapped at it. Back it comes from Agat. There's Sutton. And a good clearance from Martin Hardy. Whipped that one away from the danger area.
Martin Hardy had to get there. Managed to get a toe at the ball, but again, Guppy on the left-hand side. Decent delivery again, Kenny Arthur. One hand to it, good decision to punch. Chris Sutton battling for the ball in there, and Paul Lambert just a little bit unlucky. Good clearance.
Chris Sutton was dropped off. Neil Lennon alongside him. And that's a poor pass intended for a gap, but it allowed in Alan Archibald. And Martin Hardy. Holding the ball up well for Andy Gibson. Gibson against Valharan. Does well. But in the end, he just bounced off the Belgian.
I think you'll find that Mike McCurry gets this one right. The young lad trying to take on Valharan. Got the break of the ball that time, but really just the physical presence of Valharan managing to use his body strength to win the ball and eventually fell in for a free kick.
Takes a bit of shifting off the ball, Jos Valharan, as Andy Gibson has just found out. It's White. Lambert's header. Jimmy Mitchell willing the ball to come down. Balde back to Douglas, just 30 seconds away from half an hour played. This will take a lot of plaudits so far, but they might be in trouble here if it weren't for the offside flag against Henrik Larsson. But Thistle will feel they're starting to live a little bit dangerously.
I tell you what, that was close for me, Rob. It's a challenge here. Sutton wins the challenge. For me, Henrik Larsson's onside. I think that's the first time that Chris Sutton's managed to win the aerial duel with Scott Patterson.
That's spun up ahead of Valharan to Gibson. In from Martin Hardy, but that's poor, and Larson can let that go through to Rob Douglas. Uses it long to Sutton. Running off with Didier Agat, and that's a pretty useful reverse pass for Henrik Larsson. Squared for McNamara. It's Lambert, in fact, onto the ball, and what a chance for Paul Lambert to open the scoring.
Good movement from Henrik Larsson to pick up the ball. Great vision, awareness. picked out the run from Paul Lambert, and Paul will be disappointed. You've got to get it on target. It's a decent shot, he's connected with it fairly well, but for me, you've got to hit the target from there. There's a lot of bodies, you've got to make the goalkeeper work, you've got to make him save it.
Let's hear from Chick on what John Lambie's thinking so far.
Well, it's hard to read him, but I think he's very happy with what he's seen so far in the first half hour, Rob. And what he's telling his players is to shorten the game. Too many long balls, get the ball past their feet. That's what he wants the Thistle players to do, Rob.
Paul Lambert well away from that. Gibson challenging. O'Halloran won it though. Little nudge from Buchan and McNamara. Well played by Cregan.
I think John Lambie's absolutely spot on there, Rob. He's right, they have to play the ball into feet, they have to try and keep the ball up the park to give their defence, especially at this point in the game, a little bit of respite.
Thistle will feel good if they can get this to half-time in a goalless situation. But they'll have some pressure to withstand, I'm sure. And Steve Guppy wins a corner kick. David Lilly doing the backtracking. The last time Lilly played against Celtic, he was with Aberdeen and they lost 7-0. Unhappy memories. In from Jackie McNamara, no challenge on Kenny Arthur this time, and a comfortable take. But not the distribution that John Lambie's looking for out from defence. That's a waste from Kenny Arthur.
It is, he's managed to catch the ball so well from the corner kick, take away all the danger, and for me, just hold on to the ball, get your team up the park, settle down, and try and build it again from the back end, instead of trying to get the quick break. A picture for me in the match so far, Rob, is that Thistle have worked so hard to stop the crosses coming into the box, and it's worked well for them. Lilly on one side and Natchwell on the other side.
What Thistle want to do, though, is be a little bit more threatening up in the final third. Apart from that Jamie Mitchell chip which went over, there's been little from them in an attacking sense. One or two flurries from Andy Gibson. And a free kick given against Cregan.
I'm sorry, I can't agree with that one either. I think Mike McCurry's got that wrong. It's two big guys going for the ball again. If anything, I think Sutton was the one that was backing in there. Young Stephen Cregan, I'll feel a bit annoyed at that one.
It's a man's game, isn't it?
It sure is.
Neil Lennon eyes the penalty box. 4 options. One is Baldy. And there was some shoving going on there. And Mike McCurry, having given a free kick against Thistle, balances things up by giving them one in their favour.
For me, Mike McCurry's caused himself a bit of a problem, Rob. He's got every kind of physical challenge in the match. He's blown his whistle, he's awarded a free kick. If he would just let them go, unless it's a very obvious one, I think you'd see more flow to the game.
Well, I know it's sunny at Firhill, but that's ridiculous.
Is that Chick Young?
Paul Lambert won the aerial tussle with Martin Hardy. Whipped on by Lennon. Derek White's there. Jamie Buchan, good play. He's having a quiet but a pretty important influence for Thistle in central midfield, Jamie Buchan. And it needs that level of graft from Thistle to counteract the skill and the class that Celtic possess in great abundance. But the Thistle fans were well pleased with their team, Jamie Mitchell among them.
They've got to be very happy so far, especially the scoreline. I'm sure John Lambie would settle for 0-0. But, you know, they're very well organised for me, and they're working so hard. They've got a good fitness level. All those things are important if they're going to try and survive in the SPL.
Cregan's throw, Martin Hardy's there, beaten by Jos O'Halloran. And Jackie McNamara hooks it further downfield. Larson hurried his clearance. Possession back with Thistle. Trying to apply some pressure themselves before half-time, inside the final 10 minutes of regulation time in the first half. Steve Guppy back doing some defending. Larson on the end of the long throw. Larson and Sutton combine, and Paul Lambert has a bit of daylight. Here's a gap with a chance. He's lost it, and now he's got it back. Gives nothing up, Didier Agat. Just when you think he's beaten and he's lost possession, he's back on the ball again.
It's a great bit of play from Didier Agat, managing to get there to the ball from Paul Lambert. But for me again, Agat's got a bit of space, and look at the part of Thistle strips round about him. You end up with 4 red and yellow strips, making sure there's no way Didier Agat's going to get a bit of space here. That is typical of the way Thistle are playing today.
Getting some jeers which seem completely out of place in the sort of bravery he's shown this week.
Again, Celtic going forward down the right hand side this time, and Didier Agat, the final ball again, not quite the quality that we normally expect from Celtic.
That was Baldy, and Lennon nods it down for Lambert. Lovely pass, perfectly paced for Henrik Larsson. McNamara in support, and Steve Guppy's not that tall.
A little bit heavy with the pass, Paul Lambert would be disappointed in that one. Jackie McNamara, I think it was, sorry. Just the final ball from Celtic's point of view. The ball looks reasonable, they're getting into decent areas, but the telling pass that makes a difference is still to come from them.
But here's where Thistle have to be even more watchful than they've been so far. The closing stages of the first half, how often have we seen Celtic strike towards the tail end of either half? Guppy's cross, and was Henrik Larsson! Brilliant save by Kenny Arthur to deny Larsson his 5th goal of the season.
Great play again, working the ball down the left-hand side. Steve Guppy, magnificent ball. Larsson getting across the defender. It's so important that he gets there, and Kenny Arthur forced into a brilliant save.
Over Baldy. He's been watching Lorenzo Amoruso, hasn't he?
It's a disappointing shot from Bobo Baldi. That earlier one, that's the first time we've seen a real delivery from Celtic. And Henrik Larsson, great striking play, getting across the defender, and Kenny Arthur doing what he's been very good at today, very composed.
I was just talking there, Sandy, about how this is such an important stage for Thistle. They've done so well for so long in the first period, but they can't switch off at this stage.
They've got to, it's so important. If they can get to 0-0 at half-time, they'll be halfway to getting a really good result. And it's so, as you say, concentration is of utmost important at the moment.
Thistle fans there were shouting there are only 2 Amorusos greeting Bobo Baldi's effort at goal, so I think they agreed with us that was pretty optimistic from about 50 yards range. Not that it bothers Big Bobo.
No, and I'm not going to argue with him.
I think we'll say fine effort afterwards if we see him.
Very unlucky.
Here comes Lamberts and Larson. The deflection might work for McNamara. Scott Patterson let that bounce before clearing. Back it comes with interest from Baldy. Patterson there, and Buchan. Neil Lennon. Lofted forward for Chris Sutton. Well, the first touch was useful. The second, less so.
Thistle will be disappointed with that one. It's a good run, it's a good ball down the channel, inside right channel for him. Good first touch, but his second touch was poor to say the least. Neil Lennon playing the pass. Definitely onside, wherever the defender is. That's a decent touch. I think his right foot's a stronger one.
"40 minutes have come and gone at Farhell, and the home team taking an awful lot of credit. 0-0 in their first game back in the big time, 1-1 the second, 2-2 last weekend. It's not looking like 3-3. but they're holding their own here so far. I stress so far. Didier Agatz with the cutback, and that's again well read by Scott Patterson, although there's where he lets himself down by being a bit too casual. He'd done the difficult bit. Lambert plays the 1-2. Larson! It's the wrong side of the post for Henrik Larson. What a chance.
Good play again from Celtic. Working so hard down this side. Paul Lambert, a good ball in. Great return from Jackie McNamara. I think it was actually for Paul Lambert again to play the 1-2. But Henrik Larson picked it up, tried to slip it under the goalkeeper. And unfortunately for him, just the wrong side of the post.
4 goals in 4 games for him so far. 2 against Dunfermline, 1 against Basel, and 1 against Dundee United last weekend. He'll think it should have been 5, and it should have been 162 Celtic goals. That's phenomenal strike rate. Archibald probing down the touchline. Balde delayed his clearance. Gibson has it. Martin Hardy fancied himself to curl it into the top corner.
Thistle actually worked very hard to get the ball back here, and Alec Burns playing a sensible layoff to Hardy. You can see what he was trying to do. Well, I believe he was trying to curl into the top corner, but didn't quite get the technique right. John Lambie won't be too happy with that one.
Well, if he's happy with the first half, he doesn't look it.
He never does he?
The smiles can come later, that's his message. If Thistle can pull off a shock result here.
I think, Rob, the Thistle front three deserve a lot of credit today. There's a lot of balls just knocked aimlessly forward from Thistle. And one thing about Burns, Gibson and Mitchell, they're chasing lost causes. They're not letting Celtic settle at the back end to build up the play.
It's been a big feature, hasn't it? They're chasing absolutely everything. And that's the way they have to play to counter the sort of armoury Celtic have. Balde flung himself at that big style. And it's a Celtic free kick.
A strange one again for me. If anything, I thought Bobo Balde was rash with the challenge there, but Mike McCurry obviously seen something that we didn't see. Again.
2 minutes will be added, and we've played getting on for 44. Larson using that strength we know he has to hold off Stephen Craigan. Long ball from Balde. Beyond Larson. Derek White wanting Kenny Arthur to come for it. The goalkeeper stopped and White had to play it. Well, that's given away by Archibald. That's the problem for John Lambie. That's what he's unhappy with. Use of the ball at times. You don't want to give possession away so cheaply against opposition of this quality. Barnes looking for Mitchell. Balde intercepted. And Lennon fumbles the ball over the touchline.
He's not allowed to settle. Alec Burns was round about his feet that time, making life really difficult for him. And he had no option but to just play the ball away he was facing, and that was out the park.
Craigan to Mitchell. Support from Lilly. Now Jamie Buchan, muscled out of it by the combination of Lambert and McNamara. Safety first from Craigan. Back to Arthur. And they're showing a lot of composure here, Partick Thistle. And more experienced teams in this Premier League than them have failed to show that.
You're right, Rob. I think the composure comes from confidence. They've managed to match Celtic in most areas today. Kenny Arthur's done his job when necessary at the back end. I'm sure John Lambie would be much happier if Grant Douglas was a little bit more busy.
And that's the biggest cheer of the first half so far, which greets Mike McCurry giving a free kick against Chris Sutton. The Thistle fans sending out their own special message to the referee. A minute added already to the 45, 1 to go. Andy Gibson against Jos Valharen. If you look at the two of them together, you'd say it's no fair.
You stole my play piece.
And you wouldn't go and try and get it back either. Here's Gibson. And Archibald. Now it's backtracking time for Thistle. And a free kick given against Martin Hardy for that challenge on Paul Lambert. Not an awful lot in it, but he was late. Last seconds of the first half. Can Celtic break the deadlock? McNamara having a look at what's on. His shot deflected off Henrik Larson. And that's surely Celtic's last chance of scoring.
I think Jackie's picked the wrong option there. He had the chance earlier to play the ball wide to Steve Guppy, then he could have got the ball into the box for 2 or 3 to attack it. He tried the hopeful shot, but that time hitting Henrik Larson, I think, the backside, and safe out for the goal kick.
Half-time at Firhill, and a big roar from the home support, because Thistle have held Celtic so far. Kenny Arthur with a great stop from Henrik Larson. Let's hear from the Thistle assistant manager, Jerry Collins.
Jerry, terrific first half from the Jags, but knowing you and John as I do, I heard you saying too many long balls. You want to short again?
Yeah, we've given the ball away too much, Shaq. We feel that when we get possession, we give it back away. We give it away too easy. And all we want to do, we want to pass our way out the game. Hence the reason we went 3 up. We feel we've done well in certain areas, but we just need to crispen up our passing.
But you know well enough that Celtic will come back at you in the second half. A long way to go in this.
Long way to go, but I tell you what, we'll settle for this now. We've done well. We've achieved nothing yet. We've done well. We've a long way to go, but hope we'll come back the second half and do better.
Well done, Jerry. Thanks a lot.
Well, the Thistle supporters would certainly have settled for that first half showing from their team. Lots of fire, lots of passion, and they've managed to deny Celtic when the champions threatened. Henrik Larson has been involved in the Celtic chances. That's all you expect from him. That one dragged wide, and this header producing an instinctive stop from Kenny Arthur. So 0-0 at half-time, but Thistle with a lot to cope with. They know that after the interval.
Yes, interesting first 45 minutes. There was a widely held school of thought that Celtic would cruise to a fairly comfortable win this afternoon against the Premier League newcomers, but it's not working that way, Murdo.
Well, Thistle's made it very hard for them. The first half hour I thought Thistle held their own. Celtic never had any fluency at all about their play, never created any chances. It was only the last 15 minutes of the first half that Celtic came through a wee bit, and it was 2 or 3 chances then.
Yeah, they're working very hard, they really are. They've set themselves out to have a go at Celtic when the chance is there, but every single player is putting in a good shift here, isn't he?
Well, we've watched so many teams sit back against Celtic and allow Celtic to get the ball at the back and build up from there. But Thistle, the front three, Burns, Mitchell and Gibson, are working so hard. The back three can't get on the ball at all, and it's really...
And John Lambie said pre-match that he was guaranteeing that what his team would do would be give this a right good go, as Lambie put it in his programme notes. And his players have done him proud in that regard. And what John Lambie and Jerry Collins will have been reinstilling in the minds of the players at half-time is that this is only half finished, and they're going to have to play as well in the second half, if not even better.
That's right, Rob. I think John Lambie's team talk at half-time would be very simple. It'd be same again. Keep working as hard as you're doing, keep your shape, be organised and concentrate. And with a bit of luck, we'll manage to get through this game without losing a goal. Barron, on the other hand, will be saying to his players, we have to keep working hard, and we have to maybe make sure the final ball into the box, especially from wide area, is going to have that a little bit more quality about it.
Partick Thistle against Celtic on BBC Scotland, 0-0, halfway through. And Thistle on their return to the top league in Scottish football, showing a lot of promise here and a bit of confidence and composure about them. If you don't have composure, especially in defence against the likes of Sutton and Larson, then you can be torn to pieces. Other sides would back up that view. 4-0 against Aberdeen, 5-0 against Dundee United, Celtic's last two Premier League outings. 9 points out of 9 so far for the champions. And Chris Sutton's flick fails to pick out his strike partner, Henrik Larsson.
I think, Rob, the next 10 minutes of this game is going to be vital to Thistle. If they can hold out and make sure that Celtic don't go in front, then I'm sure they'll start to build on it again, similar to the first half.
It's Derek White, who has a calming influence on those around him. Larson the target, fouled by White.
I think that was good experience from Derek White. Henrik Larsson that actually managed to turn him there, and Derek just stood his ground, used his body to make sure there was no danger.
Paul Lambert trying to probe at the Thistle defence. Jimmy Buchan clears. And Neil Lennon chips it back to the so far untroubled Rob Douglas for all of Thistle's top performance so far. They haven't tested out the Scotland goalkeeper so far. The one effort on goal so far from Jamie Mitchell was too high.
I think it's also important, Rob, when Douglas gets on the ball, he's got to make sure Celtic build it properly. That one there was a 50-50 ball down the middle, giving Chris Sutton not a lot of chance to win it and do anything with it.
Well won by Paul Lambert. Neil Lennon takes it on. Jackie McNamara up ahead. Back goes Buchan to intercept. He's done an awful lot of it.
Jamie Buchan's played well today, Rob. He's the steady Eddie in the team, isn't he? He works round about the middle park area. He gets in the road. He makes sure he matches runs back the way. And it's so important that you get a nice, steady influence from people like him.
His old man Martin Buchan, the former Aberdeen and Manchester United sweeper, would be pretty proud of the way Jamie's playing so far. He thought about quitting football, so disillusioned had he become, having been released by Dundee United, but Thistle snapped him up and so far doing a good job here.
I think it's typically John Lambie. He signs so many good players who do the job that he's asking of them. It's a sign of a good manager.
Chris Sutton's flick, and Henrik Larsson couldn't get on the end of it and is writhing about on the ground in a fair bit of discomfort.
Good flick from Chris Sutton this time. Henrik Larsson, as always, tries to get onto it. He ended up the sandwich between the two Thistle players there, Craig and Patterson.
I think he was caught by the flailing arms of Scott Patterson there, maybe an elbow in the face accidentally for Larsson.
I don't think you can blame Patterson for that one. He's only going for the ball, and again, good defending from Thistle. You see the numbers round about the Celtic players again. They're trying not to get exposed in a 1v1 situation because Larson and Sutton, Larson especially, are so good at that. And Thistle have certainly got numbers about the park.
Although unfortunately for Henrik Larsson, there's no difference between an accidental or a deliberate elbow. They both tend to hurt.
It's every bit as painful. I'm sure Henrik will be back on sooner rather than later.
Well, Thistle would happily give him a rest at this point, but sadly for them, he's going to return.
I think maybe you get John Hartson sitting on the bench as well, and I don't think there'd be much respite if Larson went off and Hartson had to come on. Yeah,
David Fernandez on the bench as well, so Celtic with plenty in reserve, and you wonder whether a little bit of Fernandez is what Celtic need.
I think you're right there, Robert. A little bit of guile, somebody to maybe stand in the ball, lift their head and play the telling pass. And Fernandez is perfect for that situation.
Been impressive pre-season for Celtic, but hasn't seen too much action since the real stuff began. But he really adds to the depth Celtic have and the options for Martin O'Neill, as does Ulrich Larson, the other summer signing. Long ball for Henrik Larsson. His flick, and Chris Sutton's in, and he's knocked it too far. Another golden opportunity for Celtic goes a-begging.
That's a chance. That should have been an opening goal for Celtic. Henrik Larsson this time so good in the air, natural leap, great header. Sutton staying onside, and his first touch is poor. They'll be really disappointed when they looks at that one. The timing of the run's excellent. He's managed to get himself a real yard or two of space and really not causing the goalkeeper any problems whatsoever.
He's scored in each of his last 3 games, Chris Sutton, and he must have thought there he was in for number 4. And Kenny Arthur was a relieved goalkeeper as Sutton ran the ball round him, but also over the goal line.
I think maybe Chris didn't make his mind up there, Rob. He couldn't decide whether to hit it first time or take it round the goalkeeper, and ended up with a poor first touch.
A high boot from Jos Valharen goes unpunished. And Alec Burns still looking a little bit dazed. He smelt leather, and it was Jos Valharen's boot.
He certainly took that one full on, no question about that. For me, it's a surprise that it's not a free kick for dangerous play.
Given away by Paul Lambert.
I think that's the bit John Lambie's talking about. Andy Gibson worked back so well to win the ball from Lambert, and really should have picked out Alec Burns with the pass instead of making it a 50-50 again. That's where Thistle have to hold on to the ball.
The consequence is back come Celtic downfield again, and Thistle have to begin again. But Kenny Arthur still unbeaten, and that's a statistic that the home support here would love to think lasts until full time. Celtic will push and press, there's no doubt about that, and Rangers will hope that Thistle can do them a little favour here.
I think Thistle will be trying to do themselves a favour, Rob. They won't be too concerned with Rangers or anyone else.
Again, it's Jimmy Buchan closing down Henrik Larson, won it once, won it twice. Gibson puts his foot on the ball. Archibald drives it downfield for Alec Burns. A lot of wrestling going on with Jos Valharen. The Celtic defender takes a bit of beating.
Good pace from Valharen there.
Again, it's good defending, the combination of Cregan and Patterson keeping out McNamara. Jamie Mitchell. That was a useful pass, and it might spark something for Thistle. Here comes Gibson, and wins a corner kick. That's better from the Jags.
Better passing going forward from Thistle. Andy Gibson picking up the ball again, trying to take Bobo Baldi for pace. Good defending from Big Bobo, managed to stay on his feet, held his ground and cleared the ball for the corner kick. But I'm sure John Lambie will be happy with that movement.
Derek White into the 6-yard box, Martin Hardy right in front of Rab Douglas. Alec Burns takes a short corner, and there were immediate gasps of disappointment from the Thistle fans that Burns didn't fire that in first time.
I'm sure there's frustration from the Thistle fans. You can, to a certain extent, understand why they don't play the high ball in the middle, but when you look at the height of the Celtic defenders, but if you don't get the ball in the box, you won't score.
Martin Hardy's lost it at the edge of the area. Lambert licks with Larson, and now Larson. Steve Guppy, and Paul Lambert as ever, full of energy, full of running, offering options when he's off the ball. Here he is again. Now Jackie McNamara, closed down quickly by Thistle, who keep up their work rate. Guppy into the feet of Chris Sutton, stumbled and slipped and fell against the challenge of Steve Cregan. Again, the delivery to the strikers not good enough from Thistle, and they're creating problems for themselves here.
You're right, Rob, with that. The quality of the ball forward was a little bit better. I'm sure they would be able to cause Celtic more problems going forward, and again let their defenders get that little bit of rest that they sometimes need.
Larson. Cregan waited for his moment and then pounced with the challenge, but Neil Lennon wins it back against Hardy. Wins so much ball, Lennon. Now with Lambert, looking to play a 1-2. Jamie Buchan saw it coming, and now tries to start something for Thistle. That's good from Buchan, taking his time, making sure that Thistle keep the ball. Upfield, Alec Burns is grounded.
I think that was a collision with Bobo Baldi and Alec Burns, purely accidental. But again, we see the strength in Bobo Baldi there. He's the one that's come off the winner.
He's had a bad little spell because he was too close to Jos Valharen's boot a few minutes ago, and And now I think it's in the background there, you see the arm up from Balde, and it caught Alec Burns as he tried to get in behind.
Yes, I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. He's put his hand out, but you know, when you look at where Bobo's looking, he's not looking at Burns.
Unless he's got wind mirrors, he couldn't see him coming there.
So I would give Big Bobo the benefit of the doubt there. And there's no real protest from the Thistle players or from the supporters. So
what strikes me, Sandy, about the lack of quality about Thistle's passing from midfield to out front is that they're tiring themselves out apart from anything else. They're going to do more running.
They're making it 50-50 passes when it goes forward, rather than make sure it's a safe pass and to save possession. I think when you've seen Jamie Buchan, the way he managed to drive forward, held on to the ball, made a pass to the supporting player, that was much better from Thistle.
What John Lambie is saying is shorter, sharper, earlier with the passing. That's the message he's screaming out from the technical area. And if his team can start doing a bit of that, then in other facets of the game, they've been well up to this. Balde powering his way through, finally halted. Valharan that time. Sutton knocks it down from Lambert. Didier Agat finds himself a little bit of room. And Sutton, another chance. Is it going to be one of those afternoons for Celtic? Another glorious chance to make it 1-0.
It's good play from Celtic, working the ball down the right-hand side, and Didier Agat managed to lift his head, probably for the first time found a Celtic player. Chris Sutton again, 2 yards of space, and again you've got to hit the target. He'll be so disappointed. He's got time, he's got the technique right, but you've got to make the goalkeeper work. He's got to make a save.
And alarming for Thistle there, as they look back at some relief on that, was the space that Sutton had. He wasn't picked up as he came in with a late run. He might well have fired that Agat cross into the back of Kenny Arthur's net.
It should have been, there's no question. Celtic through Chris Sutton missed 2 glorious chances in the second half. Could they live to regret it?
If Thistle need any encouragement, they've got it so far in their own performance and in the fact that Celtic have spurned quite a few chances. Jos Valharan. 8,033 the crowd at Firhill. Lovely ball from Steve Guppy to the overlapping Larson. The ball into the box wasn't right though. And that's David Lilly, who gets a fair bit of length on that clearance.
Is that a shot on target?
Check with the stats man afterwards. And that's what Thistle are doing so well. They're showing a lot of passion.
You've got to give them lots of credit for their work rate today. As soon as they lose the ball, they get everybody apart from maybe one of the strikers behind it, and it's so difficult to break that down. But Celtic really, they've created 1 or 2 chances, and they really should be in front on clear-cut chances.
Archibald to Burns, good ball and good control. Now he needs support, but he has won the throw off Valharan. You can vote for man of the match anytime you like on 0900 10 225. You can text us on 07736 600 600. You could win a DVD player if your idea of man of the match tallies with Sandy's, and he'll be letting you know all you need to know a few minutes from the end. Sometimes a few minutes from the end isn't late enough, but it's called the Mark de Vries moment. It's recovered well though. Laid off by Larson for Lambert. Didier Agat. Out comes Kenny Arthur. Chose to stay on his line in the end. Now Guppy. There's Henrik Larsson. It was an awkward one for Paul Lambert. They wouldn't come down for him, and the half volley always looked to be heading too high.
Good play from Stephen Guppy, trying to work the ball on his better left foot, eventually being forced onto his right. It's a really intelligent header from Henrik Larsson. and the ball just wouldn't come down, didn't fall properly for Paul Lambert, giving him any chance at all to make contact and properly and hit the target. That's the sign of Larson. That's a marvellous header. He knows he can't get enough purchase on it to score, and ends up creating the chance for Lambert.
Such a great all-round player, Henrik Larsson. His goal-scoring record grabbed the headlines, but he's a team man, no doubt about that. And how many assists has he been responsible for in his time in Scottish football? Strong play from Agatz. And Lambert flicks it on to Uli Larson. Guppy. Good play from Guppy, but good covering as well from David Lilly.
Again, it's double up down the left-hand side from Thistle, working so hard as always. I wonder how long, Robert, will be before we see maybe John Hartson or David Fernandez on.
Bit chick to ask Martin. Bobo Balde stopped by Thistle, takes some doing, and it's at the expense of a free kick.
Yep, using his strength again there, showing a little bit of pace against Alan Archibald, that managed to take him out of the game. It's been a good game from the tackling point of view, nothing nasty at all. Both sets of players trying to give everything they've got without being nasty.
Celtic push Balde forward to the edge of the box, Valharan as well, and Larson at the back post. Driven in by Guppy. Thistle defended it well, but they've got some more defending to do. Sutton flicks it on. Away by Lilly, but only as far as Lambert. Larson. Larson slipped, nothing more sinister. More live football tomorrow afternoon. It's Livingston against Kilmarnock live from 2:25, and that programme also features highlights of Rangers against Aberdeen at Ibrox. All the Bank of Scotland Premier League football you could want is on BBC Scotland. Still 0-0 at Firhill, which rhymes, with nearly 18 minutes gone of the second half. Let's hope it's not Firhill for nils this afternoon, because we have been averaging 6 a game in these live matches.
It's early yet, Rolf, it's early yet.
McNamara. Sutton loses out to Scott Patterson, and that's a good pass this time to Jamie Mitchell, and quickly shifted wide to Andy Gibson. Mitchell again, good challenge though by Valharan, and again two top-class examples of defending there from the Belgian international.
They've had to be on their toes, Rob. Valharan and Bobo Balde and Larson. You know, the Thistle forwards have worked so hard that they've had to be on their toes and make sure they watch the ball and get the tackles in.
Hardy off Lambert, another Thistle throw. Thistle should be encouraged by that little passing manoeuvre, which showed them exactly what they can achieve. Balde towering over his opponent there, and Andy Gibson diving in. The word is that John Hartson will be introduced as soon as Celtic can get him on the pitch. Hasn't featured an awful lot in the top team this season, but he came on as a sub last weekend and scored his first goal of the season against Dundee United, and a big reception as he comes off for Neil Lennon, who showed all sorts of courage this week. Hartson for Lennon as Celtic go for the win. But it's Thistle on the attack with Burns against Larson, looking for support. Alec Burns. Here it comes from Archibald. Out comes Douglas, and a good take. Now Thistle have to backtrack as Steve Guppy sprints downfield. And Guppy will be disappointed with his cross, because he is an excellent crosser of the ball.
It's unusual for Steve Guppy to have a poor cross like that. The quality coming in from the left-hand side is normally first class. But the interesting substitution from Celtic, John Hartson's going to obviously play up front beside Larson. Martin O'Neill's obviously having to work hard today, having to think things about and see the best way of trying to break down this Thistle defence, and I think it's a compliment to them that he's now got 3 top-class strikers on that part to try and get a goal.
And certainly when he's done this before with all 3 on the pitch, it is Chris Sutton that tends to play off with Larson and Hartson further forward. Here comes Sutton, immediately trying to make an impact with the new 3-prong strike force, but the whistle goes for a free kick.
Again, it's the referee spot on. Good covering by Jamie Buchan again, doing exceptionally well to work into that space. Good tracking back from the midfield player, helping out his back players, and that's first-class defending.
I'm not suggesting man of the match, obviously, because it's not my job, but unsung hero, Jamie Buchan would certainly get that one so far. He's done really well.
There's a few contenders in Thistle team, I'll tell you that, Rob, so far. The 3 centre-backs have all been immense, and the goalkeeper's played well. It's going to be a big decision.
I'm glad it's yours. They're having a good spell, Thistle, and they want to prolong it. We're just about at the midway point of the second half.
Jackie McNamara, I think, took a knock there. Quite a painful one.
What about Jackie McNamara for Scotland?
Well, Rob, we've seen the game, we covered the game Wednesday night, and there were so many frailties about the team that you've got to wonder why Jackie wasn't involved. He certainly couldn't have been any worse.
The Thistle fans in good voice. They're lapping this up so far. They wouldn't have come here with great expectations, and their team has done them proud so far. And you don't want to switch off for a second against Celtic. You've got to go right to the final whistle if you want to get anything out of a meeting with Celtic. But they're being frustrated at the moment, and just occasionally signs of frustration creep in like that.
Yeah, it's because Thistle are working so hard. I think it's really important that John Lambie gets the message on to his players to concentrate. When you get tired, which you will do late in the game, that's when it's so important you stay switched on. And so far in the game, you couldn't deny Thistle a point, that's for certain.
Free kick against the challenge on Jamie Mitchell, and it was taken too quickly.
Jamie Buchan's quite fortunate there, Rob. He took the free kick far too early, a poor ball. The ball was actually moving, so Mike McCurry certainly did him a favour. I'm sure John Lambie would have been giving him a little bit of stick for trying to kick on as quickly as that. Settle down and try and pass the ball.
Thistle poised to make a change. I think it's going to be Paul Walker coming on, possibly for Andy Gibson. Martin Hardy, good turn, good cross, good chance. It was Jamie Mitchell who made the late run but couldn't keep his header down.
Could have been, certainly wasn't far away. You look at the big defenders, but that's a really good delivery into the box. They sneaked in between the 2 big lads, Jamie Mitchell, and just unfortunately couldn't get over and above the ball to get it on target. 2 inches taller, he might have caused Rad Douglas a few problems.
I was going to say, Sandy, that Jamie Mitchell seems to be playing a bit deeper now as part of almost a midfield 4, having played much further forward, but obviously he does that well because he makes these late runs into the box, and he is a goal threat.
It's so hard to defend, Rob, when you come late in the box.
Foul on Burns by Lambert. Let's hear from Chick.
Yeah, there's been a powwow between John Lambie and Jerry Collins. It decided to introduce Paul Walker, take off Andy Gibson. That's a reaction to the Celtic substitution. They're going to reshuffle the middle of the park, Rob.
Meantime, free kick. In from Steve Cragan. And no challenge on Bobo Balde as he powered the ball away. That's Sutton. And the substitute, John Hartson, has lost possession. Lambert wins it back. Lovely touch from Henrik Larsson, turning away from Derek White. McNamara sprinting through the middle, but Larsson delayed too long. Scott Patterson won it, and Jamie Buchan takes the ball away.
It's great play again from Jamie Buchan, working back and managing to win the ball.
Now Thistle of numbers forward. David Lilly joins the attack, 3 in the middle. It's Alec Burns. Lilly again, and that's poor, deflected away by Larson. But still, plenty to aim at if Thistle can get a good ball into the box. Cragen to Burns. Stumbles and falls against the challenge of Jackie McNamara. But far from being a penalty, the decision goes the other way.
I think the referee's spot on. Jamie Mitchell, I think, trying to corner the referee there, holding on to Jackie McNamara with 2 arms. You see him here, there's no way it's a foul from Jackie's point of view. But again, Mitchell causing problems.
Hartson's flick, Patterson's clearance. Lambert didn't know much about that, did well to control it. Lofted on by McNamara to Sutton. Now John Hartson into a dangerous position, and Henrik Larson scores. Thistle's resistance is broken. 71 minutes played as Larson scores his 5th goal of the season. Celtic are ahead.
The substitution paying off right away for Martin O'Neill. The front 3 linking, Sutton, great run from Hartson, and that's a magnificent ball in which Henrik Larson, nice and comfortable, can't really miss it. Credit to Martin O'Neill for the change, it's worked right away for him.
Yeah, the substitution paying immediate dividends. Sutton with the flick. Firstly, Hartson lofted it across goal, and who was it but Henrik Larson to apply the finishing touch, set up by John Hartson. And one wonders if John Lambie now wishes he'd made this change immediately John Hartson came on, because as we heard from Chick, the substitution by Thistle designed to counteract what Celtic have now done, but what Celtic's change has already done is give them a goal.
Yep, John Lambie might be regretting that one, but Rob, I tell you, probably Thistle's best spell of the game for a while there. They seem to have weathered the storm. Chris Sutton misses 2 earlier opportunities. Thistle were starting to look as if they were causing problems going forward, but you can never write off Henrik Larson. Again, he's in the right place at the right time. He made it look simple, but for me it's all about support play. Got there, realised, read Hartson's cross and made it an easy finish.
Hartson against Cragen. That was out. Stephen Cragen did well. There's another player that takes a bit of shifting out of the way, is the Welsh international striker.
Stephen Cragen's played very well today. The physical threat of Larson, Sutton and Hartson is difficult to play against, but they've certainly stood their ground and held their corner well.
Well, he's struggling for form, isn't he, Henrik Larson? Only the 5 goals in 5 games this season, and as ever, he's in the right place at the right time.
It's good striker play, but when you see all 3 strikers, it's real good quality. Chris Sutton, great touch, great play, good run from Hartson, a marvellous ball across the goal, and Henrik timed his run to perfection.
I think Larson goals are getting so predictable now that Martin O'Neill doesn't even do his jump up into the air anymore. It was a polite round of applause.
I tell you what, I bet he's a relieved man. This could be one of those games that could have went to a 0-0 easily.
It's been such a spirited showing from Thistle. They've resisted for so long, and what they don't want to do now is crumble.
John Lambie's got to make a decision, Rob. Does he try and come out a little bit and try and force the play and try and get a draw out of the match, which obviously is going to leave them exposed at the back end, or does he stick for damage limitation? Knowing John, I think he'll go for it.
Paul Walker for Andy Gibson, and Walker playing in exactly the same position, so nothing changed greatly in that respect. Hartson's cross beyond Larson. It might work for Chris Sutton. No! Fierce drive beaten away by Arthur. He got everything behind that, Sutton. Sheer power from the Celtic striker.
He managed to hit target, Rob, that's so important. Chris Sutton managing to hit the target. Good ball in from John Hartson. Henrik Larson putting Cragen under pressure. A decent first touch from Chris Sutton, showing his left foot isn't too bad there. A hard shot and a good parry from the goalkeeper.
A couple of good saves for Arthur, but he's beaten once in the match already by Henrik Larson, who merely had to chest the ball in, set up by Sutton and Hartson. Here's John Hartson again. And a Gats, a fierce cross. which goes all the way through to Steve Guppy on the other side. Guppy drifting beyond Lilly. Hartson knocks it down. Larson trying to set up Paul Lambert. Guppy again wasting no time in driving the ball in. Derek White doing the defending, and Martin Hardy hooked it away.
You feel as if Celtic are really turning the screw now. Better delivery from a gap first time, and then Guppy. And I think Henrik Larson, he actually tried to lay the ball off there to Paul Lambert, whereas Jackie McNamara might have been his better option. Shows we're all human, we can make an occasional mistake.
Thistle 0, Celtic 1. In case you've just joined us, you'll see the scoreline on the screen. You don't really need me to tell you, but Henrik Larson has scored the goal that promises to keep up Celtic's 100% record in the Premier League this season, and setting Rangers the challenge of keeping up the chase. Already 2 points adrift, of course, after their drop point at Kilmarnock on the opening weekend of the season. Celtic where they want to be at the front as they look for 3 titles on the trot. Alec Burns for Thistle. Great ball in, and Rob Douglas looked to have that until he collided with Bobo Balde. No one there to profit from the indecision for Thistle. And at the other end it's Larson. And Patterson was there before that. Found its way through to John Hartson. Did well to whip this in, Burns, but in truth no takers in the middle.
That's right, there's no support there. Unfortunately for Rob Douglas and Bobo Balde, certainly no communication between the two of them. Alec Burns works exceptionally well down the right-hand side. It's a hard ball to defend against, and really if there'd been a Thistle forward backing up Burns there, it could have been an equaliser.
Some harsh words might have been slung in Balde's direction there from his goalkeeper. And with a bit of luck, he didn't understand them, because Douglas looked to have that pouched until the defender got in the way. "12 minutes left of the 90. Sutton went for it, so did Lilly, both hobbling slightly. Guppy dancing away from the challenge in between Cragen and Lilly. Larson at the back post. Hardy forces it away, and that was wonderful wing play from Steve Guppy. We know about his crossing ability, but he can beat men as well, as he showed there.
Great quality, great the way he moved his feet off from right foot to left foot and managed to get the yard of space to play the crossing. His quality is so good when he goes forward. Good composure, he's got the option to play the ball wide, but dances between the defenders. They're trying to touch him because they fear of giving away the penalty kick, and Henrik Larson a little bit unlucky with the header at the back post.
Thistle trying to create something. Jamie Mitchell trying to force his way through. Thistle thinking about making another change. I think Danny Lennon, the club captain, might be about to come on and lend his experience to the occasion. David Lilly, in fact, is hobbling, and it looks as if it's Lennon for Lilly. That's the change Thistle want to make, and they'll want to make it pretty hurriedly because David Lilly's match clearly is over.
Yeah, I think it was the 50-50 between Lilly and Chris Sutton, where Lilly's come out the one with the problem. I feel that when Thistle go forward now, Rob, they have to get support to the front players. They have to take a chance. The last time the ball went into the box there was nobody at all to follow up the loose ball. If they're going to get back in this match, they have to take 1 or 2 chances.
Jamie Buchan seems to be moving out to this right wing-back slot now, with Lilly having come off, and Danny Lennon will presumably slot into central midfield.
Yep, Jamie Buchan can play in that position without any problem. He's played so well today, I'm sure he'll handle the situation playing there.
And here is the new right wing back, Jamie Buchan. Lennon screaming for it inside and gets it now. Here's the captain. Buchan for Burns. Well, the head flick on was a decent enough idea if there had been someone behind him.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Rob. That's a chance. Ali Burns, he can't take the ball in. He's got to knock it on, but if you're going to knock it on, you have to have somebody backing him up, somebody going beyond in the hope that you get the opportunity. Take the chance that you're going to, the ball maybe fall to you inside the box to try and get back in the match.
Derek White to Danny Lennon. Scored in the Olympic Stadium in Munich. He'll keep that one in his scrapbook forevermore, I would have thought, when he was playing with Wraith Rovers.
Absolutely. That won't happen very often. He's been a good pro over the years, Danny Lennon.
Good jump by Scott Patterson to beat John Hartson. And Patterson again. Here he is. Looks as if he's strolling through it at times, Scott Patterson, but there's been plenty effort put in here. Hardy against Sutton. Chris Sutton's already taken one victim with David Lilly unable to continue. If you're going to challenge with him, you know all about it.
Well, rightly so. Chris Sutton's a very aggressive player. He's a very talented player. He's playing just off the front now, so he's having to make more challenges.
Alec Burns looking to set someone up, and the deflected shot goes wide from Alan Archibald.
Good play from Alec Burns down the left-hand side, holding the ball up, setting it off for Alan Archibald, hit the shot. I think Rab Douglas probably would have had it covered. He took the deflection for the corner kick. Better from Thistle, they've got to have shots.
It flicked off Uli Larson on its way behind. Archibald with the corner, and distressingly for Thistle, no one there.
You're right, Rod, there's got to be a challenge. You're 1-0 down going into the last part of the match. You've got to throw people forward and hope you get something.
Again, that's superb defending from Scott Patterson. He's done his reputation no harm at all here against top quality strike force. But Thistle don't want to do that. Good recovery from Cragen. And now Derek White trying to drive Thistle on. He and Lennon, the two experienced campaigners in the closing stages. And Thistle clearly are going to give it everything to try and rescue something from the game. Celtic, we hear about to make another change. It could be Stephen Craney who's getting himself ready for business. On as a sub for Scotland against Denmark in midweek. Thought he looked pretty good when he came on, despite his lack of matches. That's a problem when you're at Celtic. But he will get a brief outing here. And it's Craney for Sutton.
I think Chris Sutton's been involved in a few challenges in the middle of the park, and Martin Neal's maybe a little bit concerned. He picks up a knock before Wednesday night's game. I think you might find Steve Guppy could maybe play more central beside Lambert and McNamara.
Jimmy Mitchell gets a good hand from the Thistle support. He's tried everything, he's done well, and his replacement is the 21-year-old former Falkirk player Ricky Waddle.
Mitchell's played well. I'm sure John Lambert will be delighted with his contribution today. He worked very, very hard.
He's been a good signing from Clyde. Baldy's free kick, straight down the throat of Jamie Buchan. And it's at that time of the match where you start to look at your watch and you realise that we've only 5.5 minutes of regulation time remaining. Celtic with the advantage, but it's a slender advantage. Henrik Larsson's 5th goal of the season is the difference in terms of scoreline. Although you would have to say Celtic had an awful lot of chances which preceded the one which finally hit the net.
When you look at the clear-cut chances in the game, Rob, Henrik Larsson certainly had a few in the first half. It was unfortunate. And Chris Sutton, 2 excellent chances second half, and eventually maybe on the balance of chances alone, Celtic just deserved to be in front.
Patterson to Buchan. Alec Burns did well to make that his. Wide from Lennon to Archibald. Good work from Waddle. But the cross always made Rob Douglas favourite. They don't exactly have an awful lot of height about their strike force, Thistle, and it's lofted in like that. It's always going to be the goalkeepers. "86 minutes on the clock. Steve Guppy on the ball. Good running from Craney. Guppy's cross. Patterson's header. Steve Guppy again. It's good play. Lambert to McNamara. Agat makes his move and then withdraws to receive the pass. And an awkward one for Kenny Arthur. It was deflected off Waddle, and the goalkeeper couldn't prevent that crossing the line for a corner.
It's a break for Celtic. It's not the best of deliveries from Didier Agat again. They took a deflection the way over, and Kenny Arthur just carried the ball over the line for the corner kick for Celtic.
What you can't take away from Partick Thistle is that this has been a top showing from them. Some of the passing hasn't been too hot, but everything else John Lambie will be well pleased with. Guppy's corner kick, and a free kick against Baldy, long before the ball had arrived.
I think there's a little bit of a push from Bobo Baldy there on Derek White.
So, what do we reckon about man of the match, I wonder?
Say, Rob, there's a few contenders when you look through both teams, really. You look at Partick Thistle, they've been exceptional at the back. Kenny Arthur in goals played very well. You look at Cragen, Patterson, White, all exceptional. And for me also Henrik Larson, he's got that goal again, so important, but I think in the balance of play today I've got to go for a defender, Scott Patterson, Partick Thistle.
So, Scott Patterson, man of the match, tremendous for Thistle last season, and he's shaping up well here in the Premier League as well. It couldn't have been a tougher test for him, and by Sandy's reckoning, he's the top man this afternoon, and I don't think too many people would disagree with that, which is unusual for you.
He's got 2 minutes to score a goal now.
And he's done it when our cameras have been here before. Both his goals last season, Patterson came in the Lieutenant Scottish Cup, both against Inverness Cally Thistle. We got this spectacular equaliser here, which took the match to a replay, and then he scored in the replay as well as Thistle marched on to the last 4 of the competition. But this is the Bank of Scotland Premier League, and Celtic on their way, barring a mishap, to another win. It would be their 4th back-to-back as they defend their title. Thistle have given us all they've got, but they haven't really threatened an awful lot up front. They've never looked too likely to score. Celtic have had numerous chances. Didier Agat thinking about trying to create something else for them. Now McNamara. John Hartson, offside.
I think John Lambie will be happy with his performance. He'll be really disappointed and frustrated the fact that they look as if they're going to take no points from the match. But there's so many pluses. And for Thistle, Hartson well offside. But for Thistle, the important games are not against Old Firm, Rob. It's going to be picking up points from the other 9 teams in the SPL. And if they play the way they've played today with their organisation, their desire, I'm sure they'll have a good season.
Hardy's the target, gets his head to it as well. Through went Paul Walker to try and get on the end of it. That's what Martin Hardy does so well, drifting from midfield to attack, and he certainly scored a lot of goals in the last couple of seasons.
He's very good in the air, very aggressive. It's a decent header forward, and Rob Douglas showing his concentration there, managing to go off his line and clear the danger. 90 minutes gone, 3 to be added. Steve Guppy. And this time, a little bit of tiredness creeping in. His socks are rolled down, and he's got through a pound of work, Guppy. And that cross had tiredness written all over it. You're right, Rob, but Steve Guppy's been up and down that line all day today. The one thing about Celtic, they've had to work exceptionally hard because Thistle have worked so hard. If they, if a lesser team would have collapsed under the pressure that Thistle put on them today. And Steve Guppy, you're right, a tired one there.
3 minutes of added time. Can Thistle find it within themselves to force an equaliser? It's not on the script for Celtic, but Thistle have to pour everything into the closing couple of minutes. John Hartson so strong. Craney helped out by Lambert. Now Guppy. Steve Guppy looks as if he's ready to collapse in a darkened room any time now. It's been pretty hot work out there. Not often you say that about Scottish football, but it's been a hot and sunny afternoon. And Thistle have followed their 3 opening Premier League draws with pretty impressive showing here against the reigning champions. And if they can keep up this level of performance, then they won't live up to some people's predictions, which had them favourites for the drop.
They can certainly walk off this part with their head held high.
Larson dealing with the threat of the pint-sized Paul Walker.
Thistle are still fighting. They're still trying to get in the match.
I think with John Lambie at the touchline, you don't have much choice, to be fair. You don't want to go in and face that if you've been giving it only 75%. The paint might be stripping off the walls where you to be seen to be slacking on this Thistle side. Nothing to do with redecoration, that's John Lambie's voice.
Does John swear?
Never on a Sunday. Free kick against that challenge on Didier Agat, and you can see in these Thistle faces how much they've put into this afternoon.
They've given everything they've got, and you know, as a football manager, you can't ask for any more from your players. Try to play the position the manager asks you and give them your best shot, and that's all a manager can ask for.
Four wins out of 4 for Martin O'Neill and Celtic. The title defence is going according to his plan. A narrow victory today, though. Saturday lunchtime at Firhill. Henrik Larson, with his 5th goal in 5 games, settled it after Celtic had spurned quite a few more than decent chances. Larson himself had missed an opportunity or 2. Chris Sutton as well. But finally, Larson struck, set up by John Hartson and by Chris Sutton. And the man of the match is Scott Patterson. And those of you watching closely will have seen that he was led away by the arm by Chick Young. And the Thistle fans basking in the sunshine, some of them in their sombreros. It's been a pretty encouraging afternoon for them, because although they lost, they put an awful lot into this. And in the likes of Jamie Buchan and Scott Patterson, they had outstanding performances. John Lambie and Scott Patterson with Chick.
John, it was a magnificent performance by Thistle, but you've lost that unbeaten record.
Yeah, I was disappointed with the goal we lost. I know they got a couple of better chances earlier on in the second half, but the goal that we lost I thought was diabolical, to be honest with you.
But you showed you did the right thing by coming out and having a go at Celtic.
Well, we had a goal. We played 3 up, we played 2 wide, and I think that's the best thing to do for the likes of supporters. Come and watching defensive football against a team like Celtic. You're only giving them the advantage and the initiative.
I saw you trying to reshuffle your midfield after Celtic introduced Hartson. You didn't make the change before the goal was scored.
Yeah, because they pushed Sutton just off the front too, so we thought we'd put Buck in there and bring Mitchell back to the midfield to combat that, but a wee bit too late, I think, because, as I say, I was disappointed the way we lost the goal.
So you're going to that dressing room. What we have to say to your players, I mean, you're not going to be happy because you lost, but you showed that Thistle can match the best.
Well, I'll be honest, my players have given me 100%. I can't ask it any more than that, Chick, at the end of the day. I mean, we've played, that's our 4th game, and really, to be honest, there's been no team that's got through and top of us all season. We've lost them with stupid high balls into the box and dead ball situations, but as I say, I want to have a look at the goal before I say too much, but as far as effort goes, the guys gave me everything.
No one gave you more than the man beside you, Scott Patterson, who was been named man of the match for Sandy Clark. What about Scott, first of all, for asking for himself?
Well, if we cut out some of the wee daft things, I've always said he could play at the highest level. I'm talking about Scotland, and he's that comfortable on the ball. He's a superb player to play with, but the big thing is he just goes to sleep for 2 or 3 minutes in the game at times, and
Scott,
it dampens his play, if you know what I mean. But he's a superb player.
Scott, as I dragged you off the pitch at the beginning here, you were surprised I'd said you would name man of the match. Why are you shocked?
I just thought it was a poor game, you know. Thought over 90 minutes I thought we did well, disappointed as the gaffer said, disappointed to lose a stupid goal. And we've got to get our heads up for next week now.
Actually, I think we can show you that goal. Maybe you'd like to decide exactly what went wrong with it. How do you see it, Scott? The ball was played in, John. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't want Craig and let the boy make the run, and Scotty's came and put it down. Look what Larson. Look at Larson. I mean, Whitey's got caught the other side, and the goalkeeper's in the near post, and it's just a tap in. I mean, it's a terrible goal from your point of view to lose.
Yeah. Scott, do you feel you committed yourself there?
Well, I had to go in because the balls went over Craggle's head, and it's a great ball in, so just one of that things.
But you've had a taste of the champions. I mean, what you obviously feel you can match anyone there.
As the gaffer said, I think it's a 4th game now, and I think we've played really well. No one's really played through us. They had a couple of chances today, but we're enjoying it.
Scott, I'm going to throw a question at you. Scotland call-off, has that ever been in your thoughts?
No, not at all. Just got to concentrate on doing well for Thistle.
Well, I'm delighted to see you're man of the match. I should have a bottle of champagne for you. It's gone missing somewhere in the back rooms of Firhill. We're searching out the culprits, but we'll get one to you.
I'll
Well done, guys.
Right, cheers.
Scott Patterson and Sandy Clark disagree.